Hello crafters, welcome to my channel if you're new here, welcome back if you're a subscriber. Today I would like to make a Christmas advent calendar with you. Now I'm going to use the Made to Surprise 12 Days of Christmas box, and when I saw this box, which is shaped like a house, I thought I've got to use that for my granddaughter for her advent calendar. Now the Made to Surprise box comes with 12 boxes inside and they've got crafty goodies in each box. So I thought I can take those 12 boxes out and put 24 boxes that I'll make myself inside. And I'm also going to make a scene and I'm also going to light it up. So if you have this box and you would like to do something similar to what I've done, I'm going to show you how I made mine. Now there will be a list in the description for the measurements for some of the things that I'm like the boxes and little things like that. I'll have measurements down in the description. I'll also have a list of the products that I've used to decorate it. Some of those I got from Amazon, so I leave links to those. And some of those links will be affiliate links, but it won't cost you anything extra. I just get a little kickback if you use my links. Now let's have a look at the house. So this is the Made to Surprise 12 Days of Christmas. I suppose you can't call it an advent because an advent has 24 days, but this is 12 days and it's beautiful. I love it. Now up here had the Made to Surprise logo and I have covered that with a little label die. I've stamped Jane's house on it because it's her house. I've used some stamps by Made to Surprise for the candy cane and the sweets, etc. I've also put a little wreath on the front door. This is one that I got from Amazon. And I've put little trees and different things inside. And so you'll see them as well. And again, they're from Amazon. I'm so excited to share this with you, and I just know Jane is going to love it. So I'm going to open it up and I'm going to try not to drop it. I have a little microphone on here because when I open the lid, I'm going to be behind the box. So this is my version of 24 days of Christmas and a Christmas Advent. And you can see there, it's lit up. I've got a little scene inside. There's a house. Santa's at the house. There's a snowman there. There's snowballs and trees and lights, and I just love it. And then I've got my 24 boxes. These are a deep box. They're quite a big box, and you'll see that in the make. Yeah, I've used some of Sam's Christmas paper from her Christmas paper pad that came out this year as well. And I just love it. I hope you do too. So now that is what we're going to make. I am going to flip the camera and we'll get on to making what's inside. So let's go ahead now and do that. So as you can see, I have everything out on my desk now. At this point, I'm starting to make my little advent calendar. So I think the best thing to do is go through what you need to make your 24 boxes, what I'm going to use for all the other pieces. I'm going to go through that all with you now, and then I'm going to bring the house back in. I'll have most of the boxes stuck in already, and what I'm going to do is continue on from there with the assembly. So now I have got a little notes for all the little bits and pieces are here, and I'm going to be referring to this, so you'll kind of see it here because I don't want to give you any incorrect measurements. A gentle reminder, good viewer, you might be seeing my videos but you're not subscribed. If you enjoy my video, I would love for you to click on the subscribe button as well as ding the bell so you'll see my videos in future, and it'll help my channel grow. So the first thing I'm going to give you the measurements for is between each row of boxes. I've used some foam board. You can use chipboard or whatever you like yourself. I'm using foam board. Now this foam board it's just over 1/8 of an inch deep. So like I can give you measurements of what I'm doing, but it really depends on what you're going to use to make your box. But that's my foam board is a little bit over 1/8, a little bit smaller than a 1/4 inch. I've got a piece of pink cardstock that I'm going to pop on the top, and it's going to wrap around the front so it'll give us a nice even front. Now this pink is from the little Crelando cardstock that we all, a lot of us crafters went wild to get it, but any kind of a light pink, it's kind of like ballet slippers pink or baby pink color. This piece, it measures, now my foam board, I never give you this measurement, is 11 3/4 by let me see 3.5 inches, right? But putting this in, I found I could have done a tiny bit longer. So I would recommend that you cut your foam board at 11 7/8 by 3.5. Yeah, 3.5. And I think you'll get a better fit. So I think when you're cutting your foam board, cut it at that. Slide it into the box and see how it fits. And if it needs a little bit off it, then take a bit off it. I'm going to put all the measurements that I can down below in the description for you. So I got very distracted. So my foam board measures 11 3/4 or 7/8, depending on yourself. I'm going to give the measurements for what I've done, but I'll put the 11 7/8 measurements in the description. So 11 3/4 by 3.5. My pink strip measures 11 3/4 by 2, and you can see I've put some score lines. Now you could just wrap it around, but I thought the score lines would be neater. So my score lines for this, if you have it on the short, it's 7/8 and then 1 1/8 scored the whole way along, and we'll wrap that around there. So you'll need 4 of each of these. Onto this, I'm going to add a little bit of, you know, Christmas blanket, or I don't know what you call it, but I'm going to put a little piece of this in, and it's roughly the same size. It's a little bit bigger because I'll squish it down. And onto this then I'm going to sit my little trees. I got a little box of trees and things from Amazon. I leave the links to what I've got and I'm using down below, but I got some silver and some green trees, some little fences, a little bench. We've got a little snowman and a little Santa, and I'm going to do, and which you will have seen at the top. I've also made a little house piece, which again you will have seen, but the measurements for this, my green piece measures, let's see, 6 inches by 3 3/4, and then my little roof piece is 7 by 3/4 of an inch. Now I used my brick wall embossing folder. It's a Made to Surprise one on the walls, and then I just used the scoreboard to give the roof tile look. I've used some windows from the Made to Surprise 3D displays, and again I'll have links down below. My little door came from Amazon. Now it was much bigger, and I scanned it on my printer and printed it up in a smaller size, so just embellish the look of a little house in the background yourself. I've also got, I'm going to pop them in there as I'm going along. I've this piece, it's a piece of pattern paper, and it's going to go on the back wall of the house. So I loved this. It's from a very old paper pad, and I just thought it gave the impression of the trees behind, because we're going to have the trees in front. My background piece of pattern paper, it again measures 11 3/4 by 4 3/4. I've punched a little hole in here, so I've come in a 1/2 inch and I've come up 1 1/4 to punch my hole, and that hole is gone right through the back of my house. It's for my lights to come through. So my boxes, I'm going to put this on before I put my top row of boxes, so the boxes will cover down across the bottom. Now I've got some numbers for my little house, and again I use the Made to Surprise numbers. I took a 1-inch punch that I have in my stash and I punched out a load of little circles. I scored my circles more or less at halfway, and then what I did was I just took my pokey tool and I just curved it around, and that's for the little door handles for you to be able to open it on our boxes. So that's them, and it's really easy when you fold it in half. You just bring your pokey tool, anything would do, a pencil or whatever you have. I just happen to use this just to give enough of the curve. So I have 2 boxes now that I'm going to make. I have one pre-cut here. This is just showing you I scored a piece of white cardstock, and then once I had that done, then I punched out all my pieces. It was much easier than punching them all out and then trying to score them. So take a piece of cardstock, put a score line on it, and then punch out all your circles. Okay, so this is one of my boxes. This is how it looks, and I'll pop them over there. I've been doing this over a couple of weeks, so I've been putting things in little boxes so I don't lose anything. So this is the shape of our box. It's going to sit like this. These 2 will come in. This piece will go over. We've got our little wings there for our door, and then we've got our little piece to go in here. Now, you'll have seen on mine, my door's open to the side. You could also have it this way and have it so your little door pulls down. Whatever way you like yourself. The last one I made, I had it so my little door pulls down the way. This time, I thought it'd be cute that you open it like a door and do it. So you can do it any way you like. I've got, I'm going to give you the measurements for these 2 pieces there to embellish our little door. So my matte layer measures 1 and it's just over the half. It's 1 5/8, and it's by 1 3/4. So that's the matte layer, and I've just gone down a little bit for the pattern paper. So that's 1 1/2 by 1 3/8. So they're the matte layers, and again measurements are down below. So for our box, I have a piece that measures, let's see, and I have it wrote down there, but I'm going to do it with the ruler. So this piece measures just over 11 1/2 by 5 3/4. Now we need to do some score lines, and I think the best thing to do would be to bring in my scoreboard. So I'm going to do that. Excuse my squeaky chair. Now, just to make sure you're in there and can be seen. So I get the score lines right. Again, I have it all wrote down here. So on the long side, you need to score at, and I'm going to make sure I have it the right way. Okay, so you need to score at 3/4 of an inch, at 2 5/8, at 6 1/8, at 8 inches. Then we're going to rotate it around, and I'm bringing my 3/4 of an inch tab up to the top, and we're going to score at 1 inch down past the first score line and down to the second one. I had to stop there. It's just the light. It's so dark. We have snow outside. It's mad. This is, I'm recording this on the 20th of November in Ireland on the west coast, and we have snow. It's mad. So it's 1 inch down to the second score line. Then we're going to score it at 1 7/8 all the way down to the bottom. We're going to score it then at 3 7/8 all the way down to the bottom. and then we're going to score at 4 7/8 past the first one and down to the second one. I was a bit distracted there because I have a score line on it that shouldn't be there at all. And if that happens to you, best thing to do is just go over it and push it back out. But I wasn't too bothered because you won't see this. So that's all our score lines that are done. We need to do some cutting now. So I'm going to take my Fiskars soft grip scissors, and I've got to find it first. Oh, there it is. So this is how it's going to look, and that's the same. I have them both in the same orientation now, and I'm making sure, yes, you can see both. Okay, right. So what we want to do is on this one, we want to cut up and we want to cut up. So I'm going to turn it this way, and I'm going to cut up not the first score line, but the second score line. I'm going to cut that all the way up to this first score line. Now it's past the first one here, but you can see it's up to the first score line. I'm going to do the same on this one, and the same on this one. And then I'm going to rotate it around, and I'm going to do the same thing again. So I'm cutting up on the score line. Okay, so now what we need to do is some wedge shapes. So with this one, I'm not going to take any wedges off this one, but I'm going to take a little wedge off these little ones here. So a little wedge there, and this just means when the box is assembled, it's tidier. And I'm going to do a little wedge off this one, and a little wedge off this one. Okay, and I'm going to do the same on these ones. I'm going to take a little wedge off that, a little wedge off this, and a little wedge off that, and a little wedge off this. So that's that done. We want to focus on this one now. So I'm going to take off these two and these two here. So I'm going to turn this around so it is easier for me. So I'm going to turn this one around as well so it's easier for you. So I'm going to cut off these two, and the same on this one. And then these little score lines, we're going to cut down on these as well. And then what we want to do is we want to take a little wedge off this one, a little wedge off this one, and we also want to take a wedge off this one. Now you want to come down about a 1/2 inch and cut that down. So I'm going to cut that down there, and I'm going to do the same. I'm going to flip it over. It's going to be easier for me to flip that over. So now that is basically what we have with this one. So what we need to do is I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to fold and burnish all those score lines. Now the next thing we want to do is a little bit of assembly. So I'm going to take this one. We have this is our front piece here, and our box is going to get wrapped in. So if we have this on the left, we're going to bring these two tabs behind these two tabs. They're going to get sandwiched between the two bigger tabs, and this will give our box strength. We could put them in there and these two over the top, but when you do that, you'll see it inside the box. So just for tidiness, I'm going to sandwich those in between like that. And I'll do the same on the other side. So the two middle ones will go on the outside, and then these two will go over the top. And then this one here, we didn't take any wedges off these, so this will give us a nice straight even edge. And then our little wings there will fold inside, and this will go inside there, and our box will sit nicely. And we'll take this piece, and the side that we didn't curve around, that's going to get stuck onto the lip in here. So when we want to open our door, we can pull that out. So I'm going to go ahead now. I'm going to use my collal glue, because when my collal glue dries, it'll be rock solid. Because it's a solvent glue, it'll be rock solid when it dries. So normally when I do something with the collal and I come back to it the next day, it's like a chipboard piece. So I'm going to try and do this so you can see what I'm doing. So there's those two in place. Now the collal takes a little bit longer to grip than your quick grab glue. You can use your quick grab glue. You could use a double-sided tape if you like as well. So once these are set, we can then add a little bit of glue to these. Now all these are going to be nested in together and in between each other, so you don't have to be gluing it. If this was a box, you know, that you were going to put something in and give it to someone, because it's going to be sandwiched between other boxes, it'll be grand. So enough glue, and then just go into your box and add a bit of pressure with your bone folder, and that then should sit in and close nicely, just like that. And I'm going to add a little bit of glue then. Now I'm going to add a little bit of quick grab glue to this piece. And again, I'm not putting the glue on the curved piece, I'm putting it on the flat piece. So I'll add a little bit of liquid glue here, and then that is going to get glued on to this part here. So I'm going to just sit it on. I'm going to put it in the middle. I'm going to line up the score lines with the edge of the box, and that should sit in there nicely. Now you need to wait for this to dry before you close it over, because you don't want it to glue to the top of that box if there's any pulling out. So that is that one there. So now we have our box done. All we need to do is add a number to it, and I'm going to add the number 2. And again, I'm going to use my quick grab glue to glue this in place. And then we can go on and we can do our final box. And I'll go through that with you a little bit faster. So I'll put it on a little bit of speed, but you'll be able to slow it down. You can use the widget on your YouTube. If you're watching it, you'll see a little wheel or a gear. If you click on that, you can speed the video you're watching up, or you can slow it down. So if you want to slow it down, you can slow it down, but I won't speed it up too quick. So again, I'm going to use the collal, and I'm going to put this together. Okay, so we have our final 2 boxes made. All we need to do now is finish our boxes in our little house and decorate. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to bring my house over and yeah, let's start doing the fun stuff. I have got my first couple of rows done and I have some of my boxes left to go in. So I figured I would do maybe the 8, the 24, 16, the 2, 14 and the 3. Now you can mix up the numbers how you like, and you can see there now that there is a little gap running through on mine there, so that's why I was saying to do the 11 and 7/8 rather than the 11 3/4, but I'm quite happy with this. It's cardstock, it's paper, it's handmade, it doesn't have to be perfect, it's not precision, and I'm quite happy with that. So now to glue my boxes on, I used to glue these in, I used my Kalal glue, and I used my this bottle for doing it, and really all I did was added some glue across the bottom and to each box, and that was perfect. So I'm going to do the same here. Let me see if I can lift it up a little. I'm just going to add, oh, it would help if I opened the glue. Okay, so I'm going to tilt this up. Maybe I can put a little that underneath it. Well, it'll need to be a bit more. So I'm going to add some of my Kalal glue. You can use whatever you like along here, and this is to stick them down to the bottom. I'm going to add some across here. Now I've just realized before I go doing this, I need to stick my background in, so I'm going to do that first. I'm going to lift my boxes out, and I'm going to add some glue to the back here. Now you could use hot glue if you like. So I need to refill this. So I'm happy enough with that. I'm going to add my little piece on the back first. That'll do nicely. Now I can add my boxes in. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the side of this one. And then my 24. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue here and pop that in there. So I'm going to speed the assembly up now. You can see I'm adding glue to both the left and right hand side of the boxes, and that way it'll glue them together. There is glue on the base that they're sticking down to and across the back. I'm going to remove the release tape on my pink card on both sides and pop that into place now. I'm going to put some glue on this, so this is going to stick to the top of the boxes below it. I put some along the sides of that foam board as well, and the Kalal glue is great, but you could use hot glue there. I'm going to stick my little snow faux blanket into the box. I'll use my hot glue gun for that. And I found the snow blanket, it's about 3 layers thick, and in hindsight it's too thick. I should have just peeled off one layer and stuck it on, but I worked with it and it worked well. Now at this point, people, do as I say, not as I do. Feed your lights through the hole that you've punched out. You can either do it before you add your little house in. I'm going to change my glue bottle because the other one was running low. So stick your lights in either before you add this part in or after, but do it before you add in the rest of your embellishments like your Christmas trees, etc. Now I was starting to feed the lights in, and I got distracted and I started putting my Christmas trees in. This one is a little bit too big and I cut the tip off it and it works fine. But I get very distracted adding in all my little Christmas trees and doing the decorations. I'm having a ball of a time doing this. I totally forgot to put my lights in. And let me tell you, I struggled to get my little rice lights. I think that's what you call them. They came through the hole fine, but because of all the Christmas trees I'm about to put in, I struggled to get it in. So yeah, do as I say, not as I do. I also found, because my snow layer was 3 layers thick, my hot glue wasn't sticking down to the base underneath. So that's why some of my trees were moving. So again, do as I say, not as I do. You might actually have a nice glitter cardstock you're putting down, or just some pattern paper that you're putting down there rather than what I'm using. So whatever you have works. But I love the look of this. I got these 2 little fences. They came in the box, one of my Amazon boxes. You can see there I've got a wobble on with that tree. I will go back to it. But I loved the little picket fences that I'm going to put in. Now, for me to see what I'm doing, I need to stand the thing up. But you don't get to see anything. So yeah, I do apologize. So really, it's just, you know, do your own thing. Fit it in as you like, you know, you'll be grand. I know a lot of people like to see this part of how I put things in and organized it. And, you know, I would recommend maybe put everything in how you want it. Take a picture on your phone of where everything is, then take it out and glue stuff in. Because once you put glue to your trees, if you decide, oh, I don't like that there, then you're in trouble. A bit like me. Yeah, but it all works. So I've some of the snow in. I need to make a bit of room for my picket fence. I've also decided I'm going to take some of the layers out. Again, you can't see this because I need to see what I'm doing. But I just cut away the top 2 layers there between where my Christmas trees are. I stick down my little welcome mat that I printed out in front of the door. My little fat Santa is going to be half on, half off. But I mean, when you look in, you don't really see it. But when you look properly and have a good, you know, look around, you can actually see the little Santa sitting on the little mat. I'm going to stick down my little snowman. I love how this is looking. In hindsight, my windows, yeah, I could have printed up like an inside a house scene and put them behind. I didn't think of that. So yeah, that'd be a great idea. If you're any good on your laptop or your computer, that would be really cool. But look, this is going to Jane. She's 2.5. And she's just going to love it. I did a little video showing my daughter. She watched it while Jane was with her, and she loved it. So I can't wait. We're going over in a couple of days' time. Today is the 21st of November as I'm doing the voiceover for this, and we're going to visit in a couple of days' time for a few days over to the Netherlands to see my little granddaughter and that, and I can't wait. I'm busting a gut to get there. She's just the cutest little thing. But her mommy and daddy don't want you know, her up on social media, so I don't tend to share images and videos. But yeah, she's a little angel. Here's my rice lights. I'm trying to figure out how to unknot them. I mean, the one was just wrapped around a little bit. I soon figured it out. And this is where I go feeding it through. So they feed through the hole. Whatever lights you're using, make sure your hole is big enough for them, which I ensured. But then at this point I'm going, oh, if you could hear me prayers I'm offering up. But I'm very lucky. The trees are bendy and I managed to get in around. So now I'm going to show you the finished thing. This is the little Jane's house that I printed up, and I used some of Sam's stamps, or sweets stamps. I'm just showing you there. I have my little light switch on the back. So I printed up my little label for Jane's house, and this is how it looks. I've put the lights around inside. I added a Merry Christmas sign to the front. I debated putting that there because I kind of felt it was in the way, but at the same time I liked the idea of it being there. So I mean, if Alicia doesn't like it there, she can pull it off. But yeah, this is how it looks. Isn't it so cute? I had some tiny little pom-poms, so I put them in so they look like stacks of snowballs ready to be thrown at someone. But that's it now. That is my advent calendar from my beautiful granddaughter Jane over in the Netherlands. I hope this has inspired you, whether you make it or not. I hope you've enjoyed my video and that it's inspired you. I hope you've enjoyed my video. If you have, you might give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel Blonde Cards and Crafts and ding the bell. That way you'll be notified next time I post a new video. You can share your makes with me on my Facebook group called Your Cards and Crafts. And if you'd like to help support my channel, you can click the super thanks button down below. That will help my channel. So thanks for watching. Until next time, take care, stay safe, and bye for now.